Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, dear friends, depending on where you are watching us from. Thanks once again for joining today's edition of Education Matters with Nsisong Sampson. I'm your regular host, Nsisong Sampson. Thanks for joining us, and nice having you back on the show. Trust the day is going well. Thank you very much for joining. And before we continue, I'd love to tell you the topic that we are going to discuss today. And in our today's show, I'm not going to discuss this particular topic alone. We have another great man that will be joining us today. He has been with us before in this particular show, and I promised to bring him back. And today, he's back on education matters. So our topic for today will be school discipline. School discipline. A few days back, a friend asked me to tell him what one thing that is gradually missing in our society. One thing that I have not really seen for some time, and I mentioned 5 naira because it's quite a long time I've not seen 5 naira in circulation. But the guy told me that discipline in our society is gradually missing. And if you check well, that's the truth. In our society, in the school, in our churches, discipline, the core discipline. Those of you that were in school, were students back in the 90s, in the 80s, and early 2000s, you will agree with me that the disciplinary measures used in those days is not what we have today again. What we have today, let me tackle the Gen Z era, that a child can easily talk back to the teacher. The child can easily do something that normally is not supposed to be done in front of an elderly person. And you find out that discipline is gradually losing its value in our society. So that's what we want to discuss today. And with me in the studio, I have Mr. Mfon Godwin Asuquo. He will be my guest today. Thank you, and stay tuned, go nowhere.
Looking for a way to buy all kinds of foodstuffs? Worry no more. Made Food got you covered. In Made Food, you can buy your rice, you buy beans, fresh palm oil, fresh groundnut oil, crayfish, and all kinds of fish, even frozen chicken. Made Food is located at Oron Road, opposite Ifa Market, Uyo, in Akwa Ibom State. You can also contact them on 0806 207 9381 or 0809 609 5036. Take a walk to Made Food today and get yourself happy.
Okay, dear friends, thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for still not leaving the Education Matters show. And it might interest you to know that this particular edition of the show, is proudly supported by Made Food. Made Food, where you can get your palm oil, you can get your rice, beans, gari, fresh oil, stockfish, and crayfish. Yes. Where is Made Food located? Made Food is located at Oron Road, opposite Ifa Market. So you can take a visit. You can go there, get any food stuff that you want, and they also deliver at home for you. So I will give you the number to call in the course of the show. And I think this particular advert was very important because we are talking with a family man, and I know after now he will visit Made Food to get one or two for the family. Welcome to the show once again, Mr. Mfon Godwin Asuquo.
Thank you very much, sir.
I told you we will be hosting you again, and thank you for always accepting an invitation.
I'm glad.
Please, a brief introduction to our audience.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mr. Mfon Godwin. I am a teacher. I'm a music teacher, and I'm also an ICT professional. It is an honor to be here, actually, because I really love this platform. It is an educating platform, a platform that helps us to learn one or two things. Sometimes we might think we know a particular thing, but I'll encourage you to follow this platform. Thank you so much.
Follow Education Matters with Nsisong Sampson. Thank you very much, Mr. Mfon, Godwin, Asuquo.
Thank you.
So still talking about discipline, you will agree with me that the disciplinary measures and the pattern of discipline that we are seeing today in school, church, and our society is very different from what we used to have in the 80s, in the 90s, and even early 2000. It is very different. In our society today, a child can easily talk back to an adult without caring. There are some actions, there are some things that a child will do in front of an elderly person that normally you cannot, you dare not try that. Even if now that you are living alone, that nobody is in control of you, there are things that you can't just do in front of an elderly person. But in today's world, the generation that we call the Gen Zs can do and undo. And it is really affecting, especially in the school. So, sir, what can you say about the discipline? Before we talk about the importance, can you also give us a brief concept of discipline and link it up with the importance of discipline?
All right, thank you very much. I might not have to give you dictionary definition of discipline, but in a very short phrase, discipline is simply controlled behavior. If you can control your behavior to be in line with a standard that is acceptable across board, that means you have discipline. Whether at home, in school, at work, the ability to follow rules. It doesn't mean you follow blindly, but you know this thing is the right thing to do. Then you follow it through, even when it seems difficult, even when it seems demanding. But I want to encourage you. A lot of things that has to do with discipline has a benefit at the end of it. So let me just round it up, and then we'll talk more details.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that brief concept of discipline. Thank you once again for that brief concept of discipline. So, sir, please, I know I can beat my chest that you schooled in the 90s. True.
Very true.
Okay. So, how was discipline in the past, in school and in the society? How was discipline in those days? And you can as well compare with discipline in these days.
All right, thank you very much. Let me just give you a brief of my schooling so you have a better idea. I started my nursery and primary school in Lagos in the year 1989. So that means by 1997 I rounded up my primary school. So discipline in the early times, in the 90s, was more like a corporal discipline. Let me put it that way. If you make mistake, you know what comes. You know what comes. It is not this time where they tell you, you don't flog my child, don't do this. No. You are flogged. You are dealt with if you make mistakes. It doesn't mean the teachers then don't love you.
Okay.
They care. In fact, I am so glad I was trained in that generation, because I remember when I come back from school, maybe on the road, you see elderly people, you greet. Apart from the fact that they tell you, okay, don't talk to strangers. I don't know where all those stuff came from. Don't talk to strangers. Don't collect things from strangers. Of course, those things are good measures in a way to protect children. But in all of this, these new measures are really affecting our children in a way. You say, don't talk to strangers. Do you notice these days, children don't even greet? Because they don't want to talk to you.
Even your students in school, they hardly.
I'm telling you, you have a child in your own school that you teach. You enter the class, you have to tell them, did you see me coming to this class? So those days, we were trained to respect elders. We were trained to follow through instructions. I remember there was a time, my dad, I grew up, my dad was a soldier, a retired soldier now. So you understand what I mean by discipline. So he went for a mission in Liberia. At that time we were having Liberia issue, Charles Taylor and the rest. My dad went for peacekeeping mission. I was thinking, okay, because my dad was not around, my teacher would be nice to me. This woman, it was a woman, by the way. I did something wrong. So I was thinking she would just be nice since the father is not around and all that. He said, no, because your father is not around, that's the more reason I will deal with you. So that you know that because daddy is not around, does not mean you should misbehave. So then they made sure teachers were careful to train children as if they are their own children. But this generation, we pamper our children. It's good. But I always encourage parents, please, we should be careful of the things we try to avoid. Discipline in the early 90s, in the early 20s was very good. I love it. As for me, I love it. It doesn't mean I don't love children. I care for them. I make my class very interesting. But discipline then was very thorough. They take time to make sure you don't repeat that mistake by making it very corporal and very strict.
And in those days, I think a parent will even support you if you flog the child or you caution the child in a particular way. But in these days, we have scenarios that parents will even come with talks to the school.
I will give you
why how dare you touch my child? And in our society, somebody that is not your father or your mother can call you and discipline you on the road and nothing will happen.
And give you advice.
Yes, but today you don't even call the child and the child will pay and start to listen to what you are doing.
I'll give you a scenario. Okay. There was a case in my primary school. Then I was still, I think, primary 2 or 3 or 4, thereabout. But these people were in primary 6. Then they were about to graduate. So I don't know, I can't really tell what really happened. Because they were senior, I think they used to, after school, they go to their friend's house and all that. Then, at the assembly on a particular day, the father of this child came. He took permission from the head teacher that, please, permit me to discipline my child in the presence of this people. In the school. Not just because I want to discipline my own child, I want it to be a lesson to others too. So this is something that parents should watch out for. That's why I said I love discipline of the 90s. It doesn't mean people don't carry out discipline without flogging. I'm not saying flogging is the only means of disciplining a child. There are other means, but we need to be firm. That is just the bottom line. Parents need to be firm. That's why I love discipline of those times.
Even the Bible says, spare the rod and spoil the child. I said it the other day in one of my posts on Facebook that if we don't go back to the 90s and the 80s discipline, reshape it a little and apply it today, that in the next 10 to 15 years, we might not be able to withstand what the world will look like because it's getting out of hand. Very seriously. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we've just analyzed how discipline in the past looks like. So, sir, can you also tell, we are a teacher,
yes,
and you are teaching the 21st century learners and students.
Absolutely.
So how have you witnessed, what have you observed so far in the course of your teaching? How is the discipline these days, both in the society and in the school?
Okay.
Because nowadays we don't even use cane again. So how do you people cope? What is really missing?
All right, thank you very much. Just like I mentioned about the discipline of the times past, of course, they are those measures were helpful. However, it had its own drawbacks. That was why a lot of people decided to see how they could make some adjustments to it. So we need to look at what is happening now. In some schools, they'll tell you we don't flog because of issues with parents. Schools, the customers of the school are the parents.
That's
okay? So they need to take care of their customers. What their customers need, they should be able to provide. So many schools, let me not say all schools, many schools don't use cane anymore. They don't use all this corporal punishment. What they do now is talk to the child, report to the head teacher, I think the head teacher is the last line of the action who can now apply the cane mildly depending on how he or she feels the situation should be handled. So, how do we handle discipline in the present day school? In many schools, teachers are not allowed to flog. So, you have to talk to the child, encourage the child, let the child see the positive and the negative of that particular situation. If you do this, this is what will happen. If you don't study, you will fail your exams. And if you fail your exam, you might repeat and you will not become a good doctor or a good engineer or a good artist, depending on the choice of that child. So we try to encourage the child, we try to make them see the need for the child to be disciplined in whatever he or she is expected to do. So discipline in the present times requires teachers to be more of counselors.
Okay.
To be more of counselors. Counsel the child, let the child see the need. If the child is not forthcoming in adjusting, you report to your superior. That is the standard. But that also has its own drawback.
Okay.
It has its own drawback because some children are very funny.
Very, very.
Once they see that, okay, all the teacher will do is talk.
They are used to
That's
it.
the end. So I'll do my stuff. All he will do is talk. I will wait and let him finish whatever he or she wants to say. And I go back to what I'm doing. So, how do we go about all this? The bottom line is home training. I always tell people the first line of discipline in any society is the home. That's why even Satan, forgive me to bring this up, even Satan attacks the homes.
Yes.
Because he knows if he can get the parents to be in disagreement, have a home that is not stable, a home that is not bringing up the child properly, there is nothing you will do that a teacher can do to help that child. So what I always encourage is parents from home, train your child. It will reduce the stress on the teacher so that the teacher can now concentrate on the academic work you actually signed up for. If you don't give that child the training from home, that when you see an elderly person, greet, whether the person is known to you or not. Respect elders, greet them. It doesn't mean you should follow them sheepishly or foolishly. Greeting a person you don't know does not mean you are following up the person, you want to go with the person. Greet and go your way. Okay? Honor the person. If the person gives you instruction, you know the things I have already trained you, you know what is expected. Do what I have trained you. If a stranger tells you to do the wrong thing, I have already trained you what to do. You will know what is right. You will know what is wrong. So the first line of training and discipline is from home. Is from home. So that is just my summary of all this. In the present times, there is nothing a teacher can do. The best a teacher will do for your child is counsel your child. Advise your child.
That means the teacher builds up from what you did
at home.
There is no miracle in school.
Because even now, the school will tell you don't flog.
Yes.
So the teacher is totally handicapped when it comes to corporal punishment. The best a teacher can do is, okay, kneel down. Or maybe raise. Some schools don't even permit it.
Yes.
They don't even permit it. They will just say report to the head teacher. So they will report and go back.
And this to some extent it's also affecting them. It's also affecting the academic performance. And I think if most teacher wants to follow this thing, they will use the garbage in, garbage out method in school.
That is it.
What you package and send to us in terms of moral is what we package and send back to you. We focus on the curricular activities.
That is it.
Which to some extent is not really helping.
Actually. But the fact remains that if we look at it in terms of business, we are looking at schools now. School is like a business venture, whether we like it.
No matter how we see it.
No matter how you see it. Even in the government setting, that is how it is. So,
how about this free and compulsory?
We'll look at that. Okay. So, if we look at school, I bring my child to your school because I want my child to know how to read and write, to be able to solve questions, to be able to express him or herself. Now, think of it. A teacher is trying to reason how he can help your child articulate some sentences in English, to understand some basic techniques in mathematics, to understand some things in civic and the rest. Trying to sort that out, a child is being distracting that child. Now, I want you to look at it. Let's assume you have trained your own child to be good. Then there's another child from Mr. B or Mrs. B that is distracting the class, that is not making your own child get the benefit of paying that tuition fee. Because the teacher will be have to pause the class, have to address this person while others are waiting. And there is a time frame for each subject. So that is why we should come to understand that discipline is necessary.
Very, very.
Not only because of your child, but because of other people that subscribe to that school. So I want to encourage, please, parents, please, let's begin to take responsibility. Let's be deliberate in training our children.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think that was really insightful. And the key word there, the key point we should know there, is that there's no magic in school. Magic does not happen in school. It is what you build from the house that the teacher builds it up from the school. And we don't flock in school again. So all we do is counsel.
Yes.
So if you want to flock, you can be doing that at home. And I think it helps to some extent. We don't do the corporal punishment part. But at times, don't spray the rod too much. You know what the Bible says. I'm not a pastor, so I'm not here to interpret the Bible verses. Okay, just as a reminder, I told you earlier, and I'm here to remind you again that this edition of the show is proudly supported by Made Food. Made Food that deals on crayfish, stockfish, all kinds of fish, melon, ogbono, rice, beans, and everything you need. So you can go there, get the food, give to your child, and you know when once your child eats and well, that particular part alone is discipline. Okay, thank you for staying tuned. So, sir, discipline, does it have any challenges? If a school or a society that lacks discipline, what are the challenges of lack of core discipline in schools?
All right. Thank you very much again. I'll just go straight to the point.
Okay.
If an individual lacks discipline, it will definitely boomerang. It will definitely bring in things that is not expected to be seen in that person's life. Because even the Bible is saying a person who lacks discipline is like a city without walls, meaning enemies can come in from different angles. So discipline is like a shield for an individual. Okay? It stops you from doing some things because you know the consequences, and it helps you to concentrate to achieve whatever plan you have for the future. So I'm going to mention just a few. There are many consequences. There are many challenges that the lack of discipline can cause. One of them is moral decadence. Okay. Moral decadence, I've mentioned that already. If a person is not disciplined, he doesn't follow the rules. Meaning, where he's supposed to relate with an elderly person, greet, honor people, he doesn't care, he just lives his life. Whichever way the wind blows, he or she goes. Yeah. So discipline helps you to caution yourself, do the needful. And if you lack discipline, you will not be able to show some sense of morality. Some sense of morality. Because in our society, we know the environment we grew up in. This is an African setting. That is a communal kind of living. So there is hierarchy. You respect your parents, you respect your grandparents, you respect your uncles. You don't talk back to people just because you watch it on TV, you watch some movies, You see people shouting. You see an American child shouting at the parent. You think you can just bring it to the African setting. My grandmother would use a pestle and chase you. My mom would use. I remember when my mom used she plucked, orange tree. It has some sharp.
Yes.
She plucked the one of the branches. I had to run for my life. So it is very key for us to understand that if we lack discipline, there will be immorality in our society. That moral sense of behavior will not be there. That's number one. Another challenge is, because I'm looking at our school now, let me bring it to the school.
Okay.
A child who is indisciplined, who is not a disciplined child, will have poor academic performance, whether you like it or not. You don't be tempted when you say, okay, child does not read and passes. Don't be deceived. That child has read somewhere. That child has read somewhere.
Yeah, there's reading.
There's a reading somewhere that you didn't see. Yes. So when we tell a child, read when you get home, don't watch cartoon. Of course, you might be hearing it. Your friends are playing football. Your friends are watching cartoon. No, take your time to read. Create a timetable for yourself and follow it through. Even if you want to watch cartoon, you can discuss with your parent that, okay, I will read this time so that I can watch cartoon. Cartoon helps. It causes creativity in a child. That's why you see some of them, they start drawing Superman. They start drawing Spider-Man. All those things are part of education. But they say too much of a thing can cause a problem. So there must be a place of time management. That's where discipline comes in. So when you come from school, rest, eat your food. Then take time to read. Otherwise, you have poor academic performance. So I don't want to dwell too long because time is just smiling at me. Okay. And then we also have one of the challenge of lack of discipline is bad behavior. Bad behavior. When you see a child always fond of stealing, always fond of lying. Now, let me quickly recap something. Discipline as a word can be a noun and can be a verb. A noun being self-control. That means I am disciplined. I'm a disciplined person. I have discipline in my life. And then I can discipline a child. That's a verb. Meaning, if parents don't take time to make sure there is check and balances on a child, if a school does not take time to make sure there are checks and balances in the behavior of children, they will develop bad habits, which will end up following them to their adulthood. That is why you find out, you see children that are addicts, that are into lying. They take it for a living. They use it to get things.
It's part of their life.
It's their being. So if the society don't take time to make sure there is a check and balances, so society in this sense being parents and teachers and guardians generally, let's make sure we are able to check our children, check their bags. You know the number of books you bought for your child. I have someone staying with me. I have a nephew staying with me. I checked his bag. I saw that he brought books. I was like, whose book is this? He said it's his classmate. Why is it in your bag? I'm copying notes. Okay. Where were you when the note was being copied? You need to check all this. This is part of discipline.
Yeah.
To make sure your child is not going off. I had to seize that note. I told him, go to school. I will come to school and look for that child. I saw pen that is not his own. I know the pen. I know the color of the pen. I gave him. I collected the pen. About pen, book, I think crayon. I bought crayon for you. Why did you collect someone's crayon? So I warned him, don't ever bring anybody's book to this house. So if you miss anything in class, stay in school, copy it. Immediately the teacher leaves the class, collect someone's note, copy it. I don't want to see any book. So that you must learn to write fast and follow up. So we must make sure we do that. So let me just round that up very quickly. I don't know if you have anything to say on that.
No, continue.
Okay, please.
Still have the floor.
All right, sir. Like I said, if we lack discipline in our lives, I'm an adult, you are an adult. There are many adults who look back and feel like, God, I wish somebody told me. So you see that there is this consciousness of, this is not where I would have been if someone told me this thing earlier, or if someone cautioned me not to follow this path. So there are some adults who are living a life of regret now, which we must make sure these ones that are coming up don't end up in that same shoe. So as parents, as teachers, please, let's try to counsel them. Even if your school says, don't punish, don't flog, fine. Call the parents. Let heaven bear you witness. Let the society bear you witness. Let nature bear you witness that you have spoken to the child. If there is no change, you have talked with the parents to see how they can improve on discipline at home. Because as far as you are concerned as a teacher, you can't flog. But at least you've seen something that is wrong. So you need to call somebody that will be able to do something to it. Okay? So let's make sure our children's destiny is not derailed. Our children's destiny is not aborted because of indiscipline, because parents are being soft. Daddy will say, okay, mommy will discipline. Mommy will say, okay, I will wait. When daddy comes, he will discipline you. And daddy comes, nothing happens. The child now takes advantage of it.
Yes.
So please, let us be firm where we need to be firm. There is this approach we call carrot and stick approach. It means you give your child, you appreciate your child when he does something good. When your child does something wrong, you scold him. It's not every time you use a cane. There are some children I have trained, I have taught, who if I make a mistake to just raise my voice, you see them, they want to cry. You don't need cane for that kind of child. You know that those ones, just talk to them, warn them. They will take their correction. And there are the others that they need you to actually flog them. But there is still a way you can play around it. I flog me, I do. Like I tell people, I use this scripture to tell people that as for me and my house, we will do the needful.
The needful. The needful in quote.
I know the needful in my house.
Okay.
So that my child will not go to school and shame me. But when I'm training other people's children, I talk to them. I talk to the parents. You know the best approach for your child. Do it. But as for me, I know what to do. I will do that. So finally, the last one, lack of discipline can cause low self-esteem.
How?
Yeah. I'll give you one. A child who is always used to having his way. He does something bad, you talk to him, he starts frowning because he doesn't want you to carry the cane. He doesn't want you to continue talking, and you just mellow and he goes. He has done his part, he has achieved what he wants to get. Imagine that kind of a child growing into adulthood, getting a job by the grace of God. And finds him or herself in an environment where there is rule and regulation. And you know, you are not adults now. You will not be flogged.
Yes.
But queries will come.
Okay.
Surcharging will come. To affect your salary, it will affect your mood at work.
Yes.
It affects your relationship with people because it now seems like every time every time it is you.
At times you might blame the devil.
The devil comes in. But you fail to look at yourself that, okay, what is it that it is always me? What are other people doing that the complaint is not much in their own side? So you see that the more you give your child room, you are just building a bomb, an atomic bomb that is waiting to explode in the future. And God help you that child who has come to be an adult doesn't become depressed, doesn't become so depressed that he now thinks of something that will make him feel good. Start looking for drugs. That is what we have. So that is why the earlier, look at a lot of people, just like you said, look at a lot of people that grew in the 90s that were actually trained, because some of them were stubborn and their parents could not handle them and they went haywire. But look at some of us, because I'm proud to be part of them. Because I know that as much as I am married, I have my own home, I take care of my home, there is no way my father will talk to me and I'll talk back. There is no way. Because I know what he's training. Apart from the fact that he's a soldier, I know the training he gave me that has saved me from a lot of problems. So I think I should just round up there. Please, parents, let's train our children.
Thank you very much. Please, parents, let's train our children. Discipline is very, very necessary in the society, it's necessary in school and in church. Please, parents, school, a miracle does not happen. So thank you, dear friends. Thank you, audience, for staying tuned with us. And we're about to round up the show. You've heard everything. But before we go, I would love Mr. Mfon Godwin Asuquo to do a recap of today's topic. Today's topic was school discipline, past and present, the challenges, the changes, and the way forward. He has done justice to that topic, but before I free him, we will do a brief recap of what we've discussed so far in today's edition of the show. And also, after doing a brief recap, the summary, it will tell us about his business and every other thing that we need to know about his brand. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much. I'm grateful. Just like we've been talking, discipline is like a driver in a person's life. It drives you in a certain direction. And if you are not careful and you allow the driver to leave the steering, just imagine you are in a bus or a car and the driver decides, while the car is moving, just decides to do Superman, open the door, jumps out.
We are going.
So I don't know. So
And that's the part that they
it's a serious castle. So I want to just encourage us. The reason why I'm always hammering at parents is because of the generation we are in now. I know even in the America, parents are even handicapped because they are not allowed. Let me not assume what I don't know completely. They are handicapped in disciplining their children in a certain way. Because I've watched movies, I've not lived there, but at least I've heard of situations where a child calls the police that the parent did that,
and they'll pick you up.
And they pick you up. Except maybe the policeman is understanding and decides to come up with one way or the other to sort it out. So, parents, please, I want to encourage us. God did not put that child in your care for you to push the responsibility to the teachers. The teachers have a lot of things on their table. Because if your child is doing poorly, you still go and blame that teacher.
Yes.
Now, we want a situation where the child goes to school and learns and comes with good grades, good performances, better personality, and you'll be like, okay, wow, my money is being utilized well. So please, we want to encourage you as parents. Please help us talk to your children, train them in the way of the Lord, because that is the best I can say. Train your children in the way of the Lord, in the right way, so that when they come to school, they don't bring some funny character, some funny behavior. I know, of course, sometimes our children can be very tricky. They hide some things. Then maybe by chance the teacher sees it. But I believe sometimes or most times teachers report such issues, maybe to the head of the school or to the parents. So please take them seriously and see how you can address matters. That's for discipline. And then teachers, do your best. Do your best. Make sure the academic aspect is not suffering. Make sure it is not. And do your best to be that counselor who wants to raise another man's child to be a better person. Because tomorrow, that child will remember you. There are some children that don't even have parents. Maybe they are just staying with their uncle and their aunt as guardian or as the grandma. So they look to you as a parent. And funny enough, even the ones that have parents, you see children take homework home. Daddy, help me do this. And you hear, Daddy, this is not how our teacher said we should do it, because they see you as an authority.
Yes.
They see you as somebody that has a say. And the same way, if you talk to them in terms of discipline, their morals, their behaviors, and what they need to do, they will listen. They will listen. Even the one that seem to be stubborn, let's not forget to pray for them. You can pray and things change in the spiritual aspect. But everything is not spiritual. It requires hard work. So I want to just encourage us. Bottom line, parents, let's be up and do it. God bless us.
Thank you very much. About your brand?
All right, yes. Like I said, I am an ICT person, and I'm also into music. I am into these two disciplines. I marry them together. I am a database engineer. I am also an IoT expert, Internet of Things expert in the ICT world. So we do more of data analysis, data structuring, database, and all that. So I'm into it. I would love you to reach out to me if you have anything that has to do with your business that requires data analysis to project your income, your outcome, and all that, and how to project for the future. Then, if your child loves music, I'm there. I'm a pianist. I love playing the piano. I'm also good in the guitar, the bass guitar, the acoustic. Music generally, I have my brand Virtuoso Music. So we have music instructors that I work with. All right. In the aspect of my business, I am an ICT instructor. I'm a data analyst, a data engineer. So I work with databases. I know how to manage your business database, inventories, income, customers, staff, and all that. How to check your business analysis and also see how you can project for profitability in the future. So if you need any advice, you need a solution to help your business grow in terms of your income, expenditure, and all other inventories for your business, you can reach out to me. Meet Mr. Nsam. He will give you my details for that. And more so, if you love music, I am a musician also. That is part of my personality from childhood. I play the piano, I play the guitar, I work with musicians. So if you need any instructor musically, reach out to me. I'll speak with some of my colleagues to give you the training you need. I am more in the piano, so I can handle piano directly with you. My business venture is the Virtuoso Music. So we have our classes during the holidays for children. So whenever it is coming up, I'll speak with my boss to help me broadcast and advertise our classes so that it will reach out to you. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mfon Godwin Asuquo, for appearing once again in the show. Thank you for always honoring our invitation in Education Matters with Nsisong Sampson. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you for your insightful contributions to the show and this particular topic. I really want to appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm so grateful.
Thank you. And to the parents, you've heard it all. Go back home. Use the carrot and
the stick and carrot approach.
The stick and carrot approach. Train that we need a better Nigeria, we need a better world, we need a better Akwa Ibom State, we need a better Africa. So it all starts from the home. Thank you very much. I still remain your humble host, Nsisong Sampson. Do well to join us in the next edition of our show, and don't forget to visit the Made Food Oron Road opposite Ifa Market. Go there, get your food for the weekend.
That would be
Thank
nice.
you. Yes, yes, yes. I believe you are going there.
That would be nice.
Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. See you in the next edition of our show.